Penn State On Demand is a service of Penn State Public Broadcasting, and now you can support WPSU when you shop online. Visit WPSU.org/shop to make purchases from national online retailers, and WPSU will receive a portion of the sale with no extra cost to you. So start your online shopping at WPSU.org/shop.
Coming up on this episode of We Are the Millennials, we feature technologies in the classroom, what Penn State is doing to go green, millennials in the kitchen, and how millennials handle diversity on a college campus. All on this episode of We Are the Millennials. Every generation has events that shape who they are. The greatest generation defeated fascism in World War II. The silent generation was defined by ambiguity and the forgotten war. The baby boomers had Woodstock, and Generation Xers had the introduction of personal technology. But it is the millennials who could be the next great generation. Join 8 Penn State students as they discover what it means to be in this generation. We are the Millennials. Welcome back to another episode of We Are the Millennials. Today we are inside the Hub Robeson Center at the heart of Penn State's University Park campus, where there are more than 40,000 undergraduate students. Last episode, we looked at how those students were using technology and how other generations use technology. Today, we go inside the classroom and see how students use technology to learn.
My name is Stubbs. I'm an instructional technologist here at Penn State, and I work as a part of Education Technology Services, which is Penn State's central university technology group. We sort of work with all different colleges and all different faculty members from all over Penn State to sort of try and put different instructional technologies into the classroom or explore new technologies and think about their educational use and see what we can do with it. One of the things that I do is work as a part of Penn State's Educational Gaming Commons, which is a group that looks specifically at video games and the impact that they can have on teaching and learning and research. And so we've built a number of sort of custom games for folks in chemistry, for example. We built a game called Chem Blaster. We built a game for English students, journalism students, and people who are editing called Typo that can be used by anyone in any sort of English class. And we've also used commercial games. So for example, we've worked with folks in the music department on using Guitar Hero in the classroom. There's a couple of trends. One is sort of the idea of mobile technologies, and that has a couple of factors that sort of play into it. One in the gaming space, but also in sort of social media and things like that. So we're starting to look into mobile technologies as one. The other is just sort of the changing nature of the university and the student. A lot more courses are going online. A lot more students are bringing technology into the classroom. And so finding ways to really reshape what we think of as a traditional classroom in different ways. And that can mean kids that never have the chance to meet each other face to face because they're all online. They lose out on some of the engagement that occurs in class. And that's where games, I think, can play a really big role. And so we're just sort of trying to explore new avenues that can fill some of the voids that are caused by kind of the changing nature of education.
The primary technologies I use when I teach are Angel, which is an online course distribution system, and that's the way I send the lecture notes to my students, post the assignments, they turn in all their homework. And with a class of 300 students, it really helps with management when you can distribute the materials and collect their homework in an online setting. I have a handful of students that use their laptops every day to take notes. Occasionally I'll have students who use their cell phones to look at the PowerPoint notes in class. All of that is really finding new ways to create interaction with the students. For some students who might be too shy to raise their hand in class to ask a question, this provides a useful alternative for them.
I use the PRS devices, clickers, during my class to take attendance and also to ask questions during class to test whether or not the students are understanding the material. Software on my laptop receives these responses over the course of the lecture, and then I assign participation credit at the end of class for their responses. It used to be that before this semester I gave all of my exams in just hard copy, multiple choice format. But now I administer the exams through Angel at the Pollock Testing Center.
Across the 2 semesters we use different approaches. Twitter, there are times it's generally always on, as we know, so that the students can tweet all the time, but there is something about making a spectacle of it. So when we project it live in class, it allows us to, 1, increase participation, 2, to allow students to see how their feedback is contributing to the class, students to engage each other in dialogues, really interesting things that have happened with Twitter allowing students to bring up points that weren't raised by me in lecture or weren't raised by our class discussion, and allow other students to debate, argue, or expand that dialogue. I think it's inevitable that it's going to become more part of the university setting. I think people will go kicking and screaming into the future. I think students may or may not be excited by it. I think we're working that out now. But I think the more you can explore and make it exciting not only for yourself but for the students and have a more conducive sort of engagement, I think the better it is for everybody.
It's nice to see professors getting involved with technology in the classroom. Have you used technology in the classroom, Brock?
Yeah, last semester I used the clickers in a big lecture hall, and it just made the class run more smoothly, so the teacher didn't have to pass around a piece of paper to all 300-some students. We could just log on real quick, and then he would know who was there, and we could actually participate in the lecture.
I actually did not use the clickers. I haven't used any of these. I did do blogging once for class, but my professors, they do seem to want to head towards that direction. They know that they're going to have to tune into us to kind of keep our attention, so it's heading there.
Still to come on We Are the Millennials, we see what Penn State is doing to go green, and we take a look at Millennials in the Kitchen, here on We Are the Millennials. Welcome back to We Are the Millennials, joined now by Emily and Kelly, and you took a look at what Penn State is doing to go green.
We did. Honestly, before we started this piece, I will admit that I was a little bit ignorant to, everything that's going on and things that I personally can do to reduce my carbon footprint here on campus and anywhere. And now that it's all said and done, I really did learn a lot, and I've been trying to green my life a little bit more too. Mm-hmm.
Definitely, and Penn State is definitely using LEED certified buildings, and we are progressing, and I definitely learned that Penn State is one of the top leaders in green technology.
This is Emily, a Penn State student. Even though her school and other schools around the country are embracing the Go Green movement, Emily has not grasped the concept just yet. Wait, Emily, don't throw that away. Those items can be recycled.
I do recycle. I recycle bottles, cans, glass, newspaper.
I'm actually a tour guide at Penn State, and we like to say Penn State goes green. That's what we've seen. Stall Stories says Penn State's going green. It's on recycle bins all over campus.
I do have my own refillable water bottle that I use. So typically I try to stay away from bottled water.
In commuting at the University Park, just University Park, we use about 3 million gallons of gas annually to commute to and from work, both students and employees. That's a lot. So if you take transportation and take the hundreds of people that are responsibly getting to and from campus via carpooling and van pooling and public transportation and biking and walking, combined because of the avoidance of needing to provide parking for all of those people, all those would-be cars, we avoid the construction of around a $14 million parking garage.
Go green is sometimes is political also. We don't want to be political. We want to be real, actually, real environmentalists. So yes, there is monetary incentive, and also there is environmental incentive.
But you can use the word green as a way to organize the things that most people can do. So we'll step through the letters of green real quickly. So the first G in green is what I just talked about, which is going places. The R in green is for the classic reduce, reuse, recycle, which is really around waste and recycling and composting. The first E is energy. Energy conservation. We use an incredible amount of energy here, 420 million kilowatt hours of electricity. It's equal to about 23 to 28,000 average US homes here. The second E in green is water. Every drop is what that stands for. And every drop is critical. Water is probably going to be the one of the biggest issues in the future, as you know. So the last N is purchasing. Purchasing is a huge impact, obviously, on the environment and on our financial bottom line and on people's health as well.
It's good for your health, You're young, I'm young, we can do that. What's wrong? Why should we use elevators? Or something like that. If we have to walk half a mile, to get something, to run a couple of errands, we can walk. Those are the kinds of things. Does it hurt anybody as a matter of principle? No. It actually helps. So these are things that we can do, actually.
So Emily has learned her lesson. There are many things you can do to save our Earth, and even the smallest things can help. Whether it be taking the stairs instead of the elevator or throwing a water bottle in a recycling bin, every little bit helps.
I mean, I guess if you make the right choices, the food can be healthy, but there's also a lot of opportunities to make bad choices.
My desire would be to make everything really healthy, but I know that's ridiculous. Students are looking for both choices, so we provide a little bit of everything.
Over on the other side, they have a salad bar, but also, what's readily, available. There are French fries, hamburgers, things that aren't really the most healthy.
In addition to the pizzas and the burgers and the French fries and the wings and all those wonderful things they love to eat, we feel we have an obligation to also balance that out with foods that are maybe more nutrient dense. And we offer vegetarian choices. We have soy milks. We have, there's so many different things that we offer out there that would be considered more healthy. But we have to really balance it out with a little bit of each.
I know that they try to make healthy food, but I really don't know how healthy it really actually is. And sometimes I think that more information should be available to the people.
I ask the students, what are the foods that you think a dietitian or a nutrition expert would describe as the good food? Then I ask them, okay, be honest, out of this class, how many of you would say that you eat 80 to 90% of your foods from this list that you've described as good foods? And a handful of students raise their hand.
As much as you could try to eat salads every day, it doesn't always work.
And when I ask what the barriers are, what's keeping you from eating these foods that you know are good for you, it's availability, time, cost.
Price probably comes first.
We do a couple things when it comes to cost. One, we really look at our recipes, and we're putting things on the menu that we can afford.
30 years ago, when I first was practicing as a dietitian, most of the people that I counseled knew how to put a meal on the table that included starch, included vegetables, included fruit, included dairy products. So I didn't have to teach those basic skills. And today, more and more, because of busy lifestyles, what's available to choose, go downtown and look at what's really available to a student.
And most of the time when you're rushing, you tend to go to the quick and easy foods, which tend to be the grill foods, the fried foods, hamburgers, chicken fingers, stuff like that.
People aren't getting the same basics that they used to get 30 years ago.
It makes it difficult when you have class all day. You only really have a half-hour break to pick up some food, so you're kind of forced to eat where you have classes.
5 years ago, dinner was 4:30 to 6:30. Now we're open till 1 a.m. But what that is, it really mimics our students' lifestyles.
When people were in school, let's say 30, 40 years ago, there wasn't the availability of fast food that there is today. So they didn't have a choice. So you had to prioritize to make time for eating in a different way than you can make now. So now, think about all the different ways you can get food fast and cheap. That didn't exist 40 years ago. It just wasn't an option.
I cook at home probably 5 or 6 times a week, but the problem with that is that I am really involved with school, so a lot of times you got to pick up food on campus, take it to a meeting. It makes it difficult.
I'm really excited about some of the initiatives that are going on. Will you make better choices when it's totally up to you and you theoretically have a little bit more time? Will the millennials make those choices?
I try to eat healthy.
I feel like I eat relatively healthy.
I try. I give it some of an effort.
Do they know how to make those choices? Those are going to be the questions.
Well, after seeing that, I think I'll go with an apple tonight instead of a bag of chips.
Yeah, it was really interesting to see how the millennial generation struggles to eat healthy because of lots of classwork and their time constraints.
That's right, Andrea. A lot of millennials don't have enough time or plan their time well enough to be able to cook, so we turn to fast foods, microwave foods. But with enough preparation and some good ingredients, we can make a very good tasting meal.
Hi, I'm Steve Cho.
And I'm Ari Sataris, and I'm going to teach him how to cook. Lay him down nicely like this, so they're nice and spread out. Flip them towards you so you get a good shot. Add a generous amount to give this chicken some great flavors. And I say, just watch, buddy. Once you're done, so that looks great. You're gonna go ahead and add them to my cutting board here. You can make those incisions a little deeper if you'd like. 3 minutes and 45 seconds, depending on the size. Feel free to add some water to add steam. It's also a healthy alternative. Even if you don't want to use any butter, you can just start it off with water. Go ahead and flip those. All right. Oh! How are they looking over there, Steve? All right. Now, for a last touch, let's add some of these caramelized onions on top of the chicken. Oh yeah. How's that? Huh?
It's delicious.
Thank you.
The LGBTQA community here at Penn State is a group of LGBT students who share similar views on politics, ways of life. They share similar discrimination. They've all gone through the coming out process. They've all gone through many similar things that others have gone through. And the fact that we've all gone through basically the same thing brings us closer together. And the community basically shows that we are here and that we are a support network for each other.
Definitely a family. We have our arguments, we have our fights, but you know, when one of us is hurt, we're gonna back you up, we're gonna help you. I came out to myself when I was 14 through posting on various message boards online and just trying to figure out who I was as a person. I came out to my parents when I was 15 though, just because I was scared and didn't know what to do.
I realized that I was different ever since I was little. I always had little girlfriends, and even into my middle school years. I guess I was about 13, 14, and I had a best friend at the time who everybody thought was gay. And he and I had dated a pair of girls who were best friends, so we were always together with our girlfriends.
I told my mom that like guys will be coming around more often, and she was like excited because I was sort of introverted back then.
He ended up breaking up with his girlfriend, even with all the rumors going around that he was gay. And he broke up with her, and just shortly after actually came out. And that kind of gave me inspiration that I could do the same thing.
I'm like, well, it's 'cause I'm bi, and you know, I'm from a traditional Italian family, so she went from, oh, okay, to crying, to you're not my son anymore, to you want some coffee? So, yeah, it was a weird day.
The actual physical space in 101 Buki building right now kind of came about in 2001 as a smaller office, but as the students have grown, as we have grown in offering resources to the community, we've expanded in 101 Buki, which has been exciting, but we keep growing, which is still amazing because we still recognize that students need us.
Basically anything that's gay-oriented on campus goes through the Resource Center. All of our groups are affiliated with it in some way or another. So they're a very good backbone for the on-campus organizations that if we need any help with anything, or we need resources, or we need to talk about anything, they're there for that too.
We do have ones who are very scared and questioning. We have ones who won't come in the center, which is completely fine. And we want people to recognize that it's okay not to come in the center. Sometimes coming through the threshold of the door and seeing the rainbows is too much for someone right now in their process. And recognizing that sexual orientation or sexual identity development is a journey. It's not an easy process. Sometimes it is an easy process, sometimes it's not. And just being able to walk through the doors is a very big step for someone. So we have a website with a tremendous amount of resources that students can find and navigate, that community members and people all around the country can navigate and find resources.
So the coming out process, any type of suggestion I would give for anybody that's in the coming out process, talk to the people you trust, find the people you trust, make sure you trust the people you trust, and go at your own pace. Don't come out because other people are. Go at your own pace.
Come here. It's awesome. It's amazing here. And if you think you're going to be left out or anything, as long as you make a little bit of an effort, you'll find anything you want here. It's amazing.
And that piece is a real good one to end this show, because we went from talking about millennials adapting with technology in the classroom into millennials adapting socially and how they deal with life outside of the classroom here at Penn State. And both of them play a key factor in how millennials live here at Penn State.
And that does it for this episode of We Are the Millennials. Coming up next time, we take a look at millennials and fashion. Thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you again.